So what I ended up doing was taking all of that troubleshooting and those universal truths, and I formatted and created a book. The book was called The Handbook for Increasing Your Relationship IQ. After finishing the book, it was very, very successful. So successful that it ended up being adopted as the prerequisite for marriage counseling for a couple of counseling centers as well as a couple of churches. From there, I ended up doing public speaking about relationships, and from that I ended up transitioning into coaching and counseling for persons who were dating as well as persons who were in relationships or even marriage. And from that, I was getting a lot of feedback about the book. Great feedback, but it also landed or ended up being left with the question of when was the next book coming out. Now, when I wrote the book, the objective was to help people get and have the marriage that I had. And to get the question of when was the next book coming out, it caused me to again troubleshoot myself. If the objective was to create and cause happy marriages or decrease the divorce rate was my ultimate goal, then why did people feel the need to read more? Did I not do a good enough job? And that's when I had the realization that the book was really just a pamphlet that led people on the right path, but it did not have the adequate enough depth for them to really grasp the concepts and philosophies that I had come up with. So with that and the confirmation that it was true through my coaching and counseling, I had to find a way to actually teach it in a manner that they would become proficient and also master it. I also noticed that when I would get couples that came in to visit me, one of a few things would happen. One, nobody likes to share their business, so that was kind of like pulling teeth. And two, when the couple would come in, if I was coaching or counseling a couple, the opposite sex would automatically have their guard up, thinking that I was going to be on the side of the male, and so I had to jump over that hurdle. And then thirdly, I would realize that people, when they did share, they didn't share everything. So even if I did counsel or coach on the issue at hand, I probably wasn't going to be efficient or effective because I didn't really have the whole story. So with this dilemma, I had to start thinking, what can I do to overcome these obstacles that are preventing me from being very, very effective, or as effective as I prefer to be. I had success and people felt that I did well, but I felt I could be more effective in my coaching and counseling. So what I did was to get over those hurdles, to allow for people to be able to get the same coaching or be honest with themselves without feeling like they were going to give me pushback because they heard me say something that was seemingly offensive. I ended up creating a board game. It allows people to have experiences through the game that indirectly coach and counsel them on their own without having to have a coach or counselor. But it has all of my 4 to 5 years worth of coaching and counseling embedded in the experiences, because it's not until you really have an experience that you really grasp a actual concept or have a paradigm shift that will ultimately cause change. With that, I created the actual board game, and now that people have been piloting it and confirmed that it's something that they want, like, love, and need even, now I am on a mission to actually make it affordable and accessible via the actual board game and ultimately an app.